Check, check. Good evening. Welcome all. It's indeed an honor to have National Award-winning filmmaker Vetri Maaran in our midst today on this beautiful Sunday evening. For a few of you who might not know, he is billed as the most interesting director in Tamil and the pride of Tamil cinema, despite directing only a few films. His work has been most interesting for those, I'm sure a lot of you have watched his films, Palladavan, Arukalam, and of course Visaranai. He's also backed very interesting content like Kaka Muttai, so we learn more about him, his association with Madras in the next hour. I hope you'll enjoy this evening. Thanks a lot to Odyssey and Ashwin for this wonderful opportunity. My name is Srinivasa Ramanujam. I work with The Hindu, and it's indeed a big honor to share stage with Vetri today. So, let's start from the beginning. You were born in Kadalur, grew up in Ranipet. What kind of childhood did Vetri Maaran experience? Where did films fall in that scheme of things?
Like the first thing that I felt coming into the store was like having a bookstore today. Physical bookstore today is become a rarity. I was so happy to come here. And it's been ages since I bought books in a store, so it's nice to see. And I'm very surprised to see a lot of known faces here and prominent faces also. So thanks for this event and thanks for everybody who come here. So for me, I just was born in Kadalur, but my childhood was in Ranipet. So and I think I moved here through my 11th grade here. So since then I've been here. So my adolescence have been in Chennai. So this is what I remember. But my Ranipet days were like where I was like playing cricket, and it was a place where the city was accessible. It was a town where city was accessible. It had a village close by and also a forest close by where everything was accessible to me. So I grew up in that world, as well as that is a town which is excessively polluted. So my teeth is a byproduct of the pollution. The stain in my teeth, the brittle. My teeth are very brittle. You chew. If I chew gum, some teeth particle will be there in the gum. So that's how brittle it is. That's due to excess of fluorine in water. That is a very common thing there in Ranipet and Ambur, all these places. So that's my childhood, to put it briefly. Then I moved on to Chennai to do my +1 and +2 YMCA. So films have always been an interest. My friend and I, we always were talking, and we took pride in watching films first day, first show. That was something that we, or a festival, we will make sure that we watch all the 3 or 4 films in the same day. So then we just come, because Ranipet, there's no film releases that happen, so we have to go to Vellore to watch films. So early morning we go there, watch all the, and then come back late in the night. And the next morning we keep telling which movie is good, which is not good. So we used to be the guide for all the friends to watch films. That's what films were. And then when I came to YMCA, I was like, it was very vague. I was hoping that cricketing was an easy option and easy clear. And only when I came to Chennai, I realized that that's not a career possibility. Then I wanted to become a lawyer. When I wanted to become a lawyer, my father asked me to do English literature so that will help me in being a lawyer. So then I moved on. Then I wanted to get into Loyola. Then we got into Loyola. And once in Loyola, then while being in that ambience of literature and people who were talking about poetry and novels and serious theoretical aspects of dramatics, then it was like I was drawn more towards my creative expression. I was exploring a lot. I used to do a lot of mimicry as a kid, and at least try to do. So that was the initial expression of my career. Then I started writing poetry. So my mother used to, like, I knew myself was not good, but then my mom used to encourage me, and she was saying that she kept on encouraging me. And then when I realized for sure that it's not working, then I tried writing short stories. Then like it only took some 4 or 5 short stories before I realized that that's not working for me. And then I tried to write a novel, and then I wrote some 400 pages before I realized, it took 400 pages for me to realize that even that is not working. That's when I had to choose an elective course, and I went on to the Viscom department, and I took television presentation as an elective course. So there, Father Rajanayagam was there, so he was able to guide me through certain aspects of filmmaking, mainly the commitment and the the, the perseverance you need to have to become part of the film fraternity. So that was the most important thing that I got to learn in those 6 months. And then from there, I started pursuing it, and things fell in place, and I got a very good mentor. So that again was an accident. So I come to my college. He was Balamendra sir was a visiting professor of Viscom Loyola those days. So he had a two-day seminar workshop on script writing. So I attended it, and then the end of the second day, I realized that if I am working in films, then I will work with this man. Then I went and asked Father Rajanayagam that I need to meet him and start working with him. That was during my PG. So he said, I'm nalla Tamil therija pasangala dhaan pa kettirukaru, poi paaru. And then I went and I met him, and then he said, sir, Father Rajanayagam, sari enna padichirukka? English literature. Said, okay, I was giving all the list of books that I liked. Tamil enna padichirukka? That was the time I hadn't read anything, anyone beyond Maaran or Sujata or Dekantari. இந்த 3 பேர் தான் எனக்கு தெரியும் தமிழ்ல. Then he said, why did he send you to me then? I said, நீங்க நல்லா தமிழ் தெரிஞ்சவங்கள வர சொன்னீங்க. தமிழ் இலக்கியம் தெரிஞ்சவங்கள வர சொன்னா நீ கிளம்பு அப்படின்றாரு. Then I had to leave, and of course, I went the next week, and we started talking. He liked me, he took a liking, and then he started giving me books to read. That's how it was a very big journey. So, for a brief before I became an AD, that's it.
So many things that I'm sure a lot of us didn't know about Vetri Maaran, his love for cricket, and the reason behind his colored teeth and things like that. Sir, Madras vandachu. Big bad the world அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம். What were your hangouts then? You said you'd become part of Balu Mahindra's thing. So can you tell us a little bit about the hangouts, the kind of friends you were with at that point of time? Were you was the talk always films?
For my, what to say, for my wild adolescence, no city could have been bad. so it's like for me, ஒரு இடத்த வந்து பேட்னு சொல்றவங்க வெளியே இருந்து வர்றவங்க தான். It's always the perception. When you come into a place, what you have and what are the experiences that you have. There are so many things. Chennai is divided into two, like people, the natives and those who come. So the natives are the oppressed here. The people who are migrated are the ones who taken the what to say, taken the power, and they gave the discussion and the discourse is on their side. So it's always like that. See, for me, I've never felt more at home in any other place. Even as a kid, when I came here, it was very nice. Like I came here and I was at my aunt's place in Chitti Vitla, St. Thomas Mount. I was there, and I used to commute through train every day to YMCA. So there was a situation where I had to move out, and my mom said, like, ஒரு நாள் ஸ்கூல்ல இருக்கோம். My mom came to the school. She said, we have to shift you, so you cannot stay there anymore. We have to shift you. So my friend, he was just நாங்க எல்லாம் ஒண்ணா இருந்தோம். He said, எங்க வீட்டுக்கு வா auntie. Then my mother said, சரி நான் உங்கள் வீட்டில் அப்பா அம்மா கிட்ட போயிட்டேன், அதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் தேவையில்லை ஆண்டி போகலாம். ஸோ வி வெண்ட் அண்ட் உள்ள அப்படியே அவங்க அந்த அந்த வீட்டுக்குள்ளே வாக் பண்ணி போகிறோம். நிறைய வீடு இருக்கும், வீட்டுக்குள்ளே வாக் பண்ணி போகிறோம். அவங்க அம்மா வந்து வீட்டு வாசலில் துணி துவைச்சிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. நான் சொன்னலம்மா என் ஃப்ரெண்டு வெற்றி, வாப்பா, அது அவங்க அம்மா, வாங்கம்மா இனிமேல் இங்கே தான் தங்க போகிறேன். சரிப்பா. Yeah, no, that's the kind of friends I have in Chennai, and that's the kind of, those are people of Chennai. So adukaprom, even before I could we could do a 11th grade, avan vandu my friend he had to discontinue studies and work பண்ண போயிட்டான். அவன் பெங்களூருக்கு வேலை செய்ய போயிட்டான். நான் அவங்க வீட்டில் இருந்து படித்தேன் +2. ஸோ நான் அங்கே இருந்து படித்தேன். அண்ட் his mom, I was feeling very bad. I was not very comfortable. I said, நான் வந்து வெளியே போயிடுறேன். அவங்க அவன் தான் இல்லை, நீ இருக்கிறேன்னு தான் நான் இருக்கிறேன், நீ இரு அப்படின்வாங்க. ஸோ that's how it was. So these are the kind of people I met in Chennai. And for me, சென்னைன்னா இதுதான் எனக்கு. It is, and anybody who's from Chennai will know how to take care of Chennai. சென்னையிலே இருக்கிறவங்க வந்து they don't use more than a bucket of water to take bath. இப்போ வெளியே இருந்து வர்றவங்க என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா they use 20 buckets, 30 buckets and then say இங்க தண்ணி பஞ்சம், water scarcity இருக்குன்னாங்க. So it's like you don't know, like, see, if this is not your home, you don't feel like protecting it, conserving it. Once you move, once you come here, then only when you feel this is yours, then you take responsibility, ownership to protect the place, the ecosystem, the balance. Nothing is that. See, and the natives are the ones who suffer for the greed of those who come from outside. That's always there.
You spoke about a lot of memorable first show experiences. Once in Chennai, can you share some experiences of watching films here in Chennai? In which theatre, which first day first show?
Anything first show ஞாபகம் இல்லை எனக்கு. But it was like, நானும் அதே ஃப்ரெண்டும் தான், நானும் அவனும் தான் ஒரு நாள் நெக்ஸ்ட் முடிச்சுட்டு அலங்கார் தியேட்டர் ரோஜா படம் போகிறோம். அவசரமாக போகிறோம், டிக்கெட் பிளாக்ல தான் வாங்கி பார்க்கணும். we are rushing and இங்கே வயம்சிலன்னு போகிறோம். போயிட்டு நெக்ஸ்ட் முடிச்சுட்டு போகிறோம். வண்டி விட்டு இறங்கி தியேட்டருக்கு போய் டிக்கெட் வாங்கியாச்சு. டிக்கெட் வாங்கினோன்னு தான் வேறு ரியலைசிங் கிட் பேக் இல்லை. டேய் பஸ்ஸில் இருக்கிறான்னா அவன் ஃப்ரெண்டு பதறான், டேய் போகலாம் இல்லை படம் ஆரம்பிச்சிடுவான், படம் பார்க்கலான்ற நான். அவன் he said, டேய் நம்ம டிப்போவில் போகலாம் எடுத்துடலாம். அதில் அந்த ஐ திங்க் அந்த பிடிஎம்னு நினைக்கிறேன் அந்த பேட் வாஸ் வெரி ரொம்ப எக்ஸ்பென்சிவான பேட். தோஸ் இஸ் லைக் 2500 rupees or 3500 rupees at that time. So போகலாம் நான் வந்து எனக்கு படம் ஆரம்பிச்சிடணும், படத்துக்கு போகலான்னு சொல்லிட்டு I forced my friend to go watch the film. Kickback விட்டோம். I think that was the last time I was really passionate about playing cricket. அதுக்கு ஒரு 2 months முன்னாடி தான் நாங்கள் ஸ்டேட் செலெக்ஷன் போயிட்டு அசிங்கப்பட்டு வந்தோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் I think that was a very decisive moment where I gave up on cricket, and so that was one thing. ரொம்ப அம்பத்தூர்ல இருந்தப்போ பழைய படம்லாம் பார்ப்போம். அந்த முருகன் தியேட்டர் அங்கே வந்து யூஸ் டு வாட்ச் ஓல்ட் ஃபிலிம்ஸ். ஆலயமணி எல்லாம் 2 தடவை 3 தடவைலாம் பார்த்துட்டு இருந்த டைம்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்கு. didn't know what else to do, அதனால பார்த்துட்டு இருப்போம். And I think எஜமான் அதுவும் அம்பத்தூர் ராக்கி பார்த்து ஞாபகம்.
Vetri, let's go to your work, your body of work now. Polladavan made a lot of heads turn, and it spoke about things that we were not normally used to seeing in Tamil cinema at that point of time. There's this entire stretch that I really like about where Dhanush and Karunas goes in search of the bike and the things that they discover on the way. That particular stretch or research, what went into that point of that stretch? Can you elaborate for the audience here?
எப்போவுமே பொல்லாதவன் பற்றி எவ்ரி டைம் ஐ ஸ்டார்ட் அபவுட் பொல்லாதவன் ஐ சே தட் பீப்புள் சே இட்ஸ் அன் இன்ஸ்பிரேஷன் ஆர் inspired by bicycle thieves or lift of bicycle thieves, but that's not the case. My friend who worked with me Name is Andrew. Yeah. So he lost his bike. He's from Ennore. So he lost his bike and he wanted to get find out what would have happened to his bike and his journey and everything that he spoke about, whatever that he saw. Those 30 minutes. So that makes it look real and work, and that was the thing. Like that's where we started when he was sharing the idea. We've lost, like people are doing this, doing this, doing that, and then we thought let's make a film out. And even before we could start, we know that this tag of bicycle thieves is going to follow us forever. We chose to tell the story because I thought that story had so much more.
In terms of research, how much does Vetri Maaran get into the character of a place? I know you get into a lot of character detailing, the way you've written Dhanush's character in Polladhavan, later in Aadakalam, and I'm sure now in Varachennai. Can you tell me a little bit about how much of research and how much detailing you go inside a particular place before starting to shoot there and things like that?
See, the geography determines the kind of person you are. So without knowing the socio-economic, political, geographical spacing of a character, there is no way you can get the character right. So for me, and I have a problem, like I don't have a very creative mind, in the sense like I cannot create something out of nowhere. So I have to have the details. Like there are so many instances where I would go to a place and say, okay, I don't think I can shoot tomorrow because I don't know anything about this place, and I don't know how or where to look at a place from. That's important when you're shooting a film. Now, what you shoot is one thing, then where you shoot that particular thing is very important aspect. That's more important, I think. So I actually like to spend some time in a place. Like so, place is one geography, then the people who live there, and all the other aspects. Like say for instance, the food the people who live there eat. All of that counts. So you live there for some time and get to know them and try to have them around you while making a film. Like so, I've been to Madurai before I wanted to make Adyar. So we moved there, we lived there for a year before we started. And until the whole film got over, like 2.5 years, we lived in Madurai to get that right. And then, of course, I keep my team that way. Velraj is from Madurai. My Vikram, who wrote the dialogues for the film, was from Madurai. So having people around, so that reduces my work. And then I pick up people from that world itself. So that makes a lot of things easier for me. I just have to capture it. I don't need to create anything. I let the people be themselves in their world, and then I introduce my actors into that world. So, and all my actors have been able to adapt themselves into that world. So that's how I try to capture it.
From Madurai, let's come back to Madras because it's Madras Day. And I wanted to ask you, Polladhavan and maybe Selvaraghavan sir's Pudupete, they're among the early films to start off this trend about stories from North Madras. Why do you think this fascination got among filmmakers?
No, see, fascination lets a duty, I think. Again, there is a wrong, there's always, there's a typecasting thing to it, tag to it. திருநெல்வேலினா வந்து அருவாள் வச்சிருப்பாங்க, வெட்டுவாங்க, குத்துவாங்க. Then North Chennaiனா வந்து அன்பு. So it is a part of that world. You cannot deny that. But that alone does not make it. So my friend Andrew is in the film industry. His cousin is a cop, and then their friend is, their friend knows the network of the this bike mafia, and then they know another people. So all of them are living in the same world, but they all are different people, and their worlds are totally different. So that should be brought in, and I think this interest towards a world that is gritty and dark starts with the way of an attempt to break out of the world that is in terms of films, world that has been set by the previous generation. So until now, or until like 2001 or 2 or 3, you want to make a film on underworld, you just take Godfather, watch it, forget it, and then write. So Devar Magan, Nayagan, everything was inspired by Godfather, in a good way or bad way. Even Company was Godfather, Satya was Godfather, everything was Godfather. So when the world, like our filmmakers were open to the world cinema, like there are certain very important films like City of God or Amar. So these are films that made people think differently, and when that came in, everybody wanted to change it. Like I think 2002, I think the City of God. Immediately, like within 2 years, people started making films differently. So Pudupete started it. Like he wanted to do something new, and he wanted to go to a place where he didn't know much. So he belongs to a typical Madras middle class. Like his life is the perfect Madras middle class life. So, and he wanted to go and explore a world which he is not exposed to. So he went and he tried to do that. Then Polladavan, for me, I am more aware and I am more connected to the lower middle class lifestyle of Chennai, and my exposure to that world was more at the middle class and the upper middle class world. So I was able to capture it, and of course, for me my schooling counts a lot. Like working with Balu Mahendra sir. Of course, when I say this, people might be surprised because Balu Mahendra sir's films and the kind of films that his assistants are making are not in the same league, but still, the way to conceive a scene and execute it and to make it look real, that's very important. So these are films that try to break the stereotypes. And then comes Ranjit with a political voice, and of course his voice is more powerful and meaningful than others. So
Vetri, talk to us about your first time when you went to North Madras, your impressions there, and how much of it is in Bharat Chennai, the upcoming film which everyone here is looking forward to.
I really don't know what's going to happen with Bharat Chennai. I'm trying to make a film out of whatever that we have. See, I went looking for a as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't able to write the script without knowing much more about my friends' experiences. So I wanted to go talk to the actual people involved. So I met them, and I was talking to them. That's when one of them spoke to me in detail about the whole history, like how the underworld thing. See, wherever there's a port, there's organized crime. Without port, you don't have that kind of organized networked crime where one small person is not that person. He's an extension of the person who's above him, and that leads to the governing, like the people who run the show, like who run the country. So it's not one small person in a harbor who does things, like who takes money from a broker. So he is an extension of the guy who's ruling the state. So that's how. So this organized networking situations don't work well without a port. So that's where we started. Like, that's the kind of understanding that we got, and then you also realize that this is not an underworld. The usage of underworld is not right. It's a counter economy. So when people are left out by the mainstream growth and process and development, then they have to survive. So this counter economy and the counter lifestyle comes into existence, and this counter existence is in a way a product intentionally created by the system. so that it can do a lot of dirty work for him. So this is created by that, and there are a few very detailed work on this, of course not based on Chennai. There's one called Gomorrah is there, like Gomorrah is a book, I think they've made it into film and a series, all of that is. So you get an understanding of these things while you talk to them, interact with them, and you also realize how running a political party is not possible without this, the kind of networking they have to do with people. So these are the things that I felt initially. So when we started making the film, but when I started writing it in 2003, so then every time I take this up, then we realized it is not. No, we wouldn't have the budget to do this job, and then we'll put it out. Like then, this time, because Dhanush is the producer, he was ready to, gamble, and then said, let's do it. So when we first edited, the film was like 7 hours. So from 7 hours, we thought let's make it into a 2-part film. Then we decided, no, let's make it into a single part. Now we're trying to bring it less than 3 hours. So it's a challenge. It discusses about the life of a group of people, and runs over a span of like 25-30 years. So long thing. It's I don't know what to say as the story of this film. So, it's just the life of people who live there.
And I watched the trailers. I'm sure a lot of people here also would have watched the trailers. The connecting chord between, say, Polladavan and Vadachane, of course, they set in similar territories. Is the fascination for carom also? It's a sport that is played. I understand there is a lot of like big champions. Can you tell me about how they get into the sport? What their passions are towards this particular sport?
There's no definitive evidence to say that carom was founded in North Madras, but they say it is a game of North Chennai. But we have the World Federation of Carom Board in North Madras, and we have around 4 international champions, world champions from Chennai. And Maria Irene, the first world champion, was part of the film. Like he was the one who trained Dhanush, and there are stories of like proper stories of rags to riches. Like one kid, like girl who learned and she becomes the world champion. All of that was there, but this isn't. All of Chennai has this as their a sport where you gather and you have like youngsters can come, sit, talk, play, and go. That's a thing, and the connection between Vadachennai and Polladavan is not carom, but carom is an integral part of people of Chennai, not just North Chennai. Anywhere of Chennai, you have this.
Vetri, I read this column by Gopi Naina, the director of Aram today in the Hindu. He talks about how Tamil cinema has had a very flat, has showcased a very flat side of reality, especially when it comes to people from North Chennai and North Chennai subjects and all that. How does Vadachennai fall into that scheme of things, and how are you looking to represent people from there in the correct form of way?
We always try to do that, but this criticism will not, what to say, Vadachennai will also have to suffer this criticism. It will not be out of the criticism. But it has taken more care in representing people in a better light. Not exactly in the right light, but we have consciously tried to make certain politically correct statements.
When you talk to us about actual challenges you face while shooting on ground, because a lot of people here might see the film as a final product, but all of us know that it's the result of many months of hard work and many years in Arachan's case. Actual shooting location, the kind of challenges that you as a filmmaker face, understanding the geography. Adapati, can you elaborate a little bit?
No, but I don't have any issues in understanding the geography. That's easy for me to work on. But then the actual challenge would be for the people to work with me. So I don't have issues in working there. For my actors, for my technicians, and for the people from there. They will only have problems. It's like, you know, the camel getting into the tent. Filmmakers, that's what we do. Like you go into a place, first day we say, no, like, okay. The next day is, yeah, the மாத்தி வச்சுங்க அதெல்லாம் இங்க வைக்க கூடாது இல்லைங்க எங்க வீட்டுல அதெல்லாம் வைக்க கூடாது எடுங்க கண்டினியூட்டிங்க then the fourth day வீட்டுல போலாமா இருங்க இருங்க சொல்றாங்க. That's how it happens. So see, everybody respects filmmakers. Film though when it comes to a social platform, though people look at them differently, but they have a lot of regard for the film people when they are working. So everybody give, when they know it's a shooting, nobody would say, okay, let them be shooting, this is my street, I would go, why should I wait? Everybody waits. So there's kind of respect. Filmmaking as a ongoing profession has, like, you know, you just, tomorrow you meet that person at his place and say, what are you doing? I'm an aspiring filmmaker. He might definitely have some advice to tell you, give you. But while working, everybody respects filmmakers, and there people really respect you. And we never had any issues as such. Like, you know, we had erected a set right fishing harbor, and during the May holidays they have, like, where they let the eggs to hatch and the young ones to grow. It's a 60-day break. So that is when they all mend their nets and everything. So they need a lot of space to do that. So we erected a set right there at the fishing harbor, and all those 2 months they were so cooperative. They did not have any, like, they adjusted so many things for us, and they had their function around us, and like எல்லாமே accommodated. They were very understanding, ரொம்ப support பண்ணாங்க, and they did not disturb the actors. You know, they did not rush in and say Dhanush put a photo. No issues, and all the girls were treated properly. My ADs, the actors, nobody faced any issue. So we shot in Raipuram as well as in Mylapur, right behind the city center. There's a slum there. We shot there also. So nowhere we had issues. It's like very, very comfortably. Actually, the unit was taken care of by the people there. We never had any issues.
Sir, thought I'd speak a little bit about Kakamate as well, of a project that you backed. Casting plays a very important role in such films, and you need to pull off those two boys. You need some real faces, and I'm sure you pulled it off with the casting. Can you talk to us about the film, where it was shot, by a different director I know, but a little bit about that project and how casting played a very important role at that point?
He shot it in Saidapet. When you look at Kakamute, it's an outsider's take on Chennai. It's not. You look at the film and you'll know that it's a good film, but it has an outsider's view on Chennai. So because we're talking about Chennai, I'm saying this. And he was Manikandan was the cameraman himself, so he was scouting locations for the film, and he had clicked some pictures of the boys, and having these two kids as reference, he was trying to find kids to come and act, and then we were not able to find, like, he was not able to find, and then he said, sir, shall I try with the same boys? I said, okay, you bring them up, you train them, and then he like 4 or 5 kids he selected, and he brought all the parents to us, and then I spoke to them, ஒரு 2 மாசம் எங்ககிட்ட கொடுங்க பசங்களை நாங்க பாத்துக்கிறோம். Then it was like their summer vacation. They lived in my office, and every day they were trained. they brought in an acting instructor, and they were trained, they were voice trained, and first they were given the lines, the kids would want to play. Like Manigandan had so much of patience working with these kids, and the kids even now go to Manigandan's place, and their education, whatever, it is being taken care of him. Like he's guiding them through all of that. So that's all happening. So, but it was shot in Saidarpet, and the kids were brought in left here, and Aishwarya's work in that was the most challenging because everybody else were themselves. She had to let it.
We might round off this conversation with Visaranai, which I obviously miss Visaranai. Talk to us about the Oscar experiences, your the perception of people, journalists, and filmmakers there about Indian cinema, about cinema coming from Madras, and your experiences there. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
They were surprised to know that Indians speak Tamil. For them, Tamil is Sri Lankan language. So they only know Hindi cinema. So it's hard to make them understand there is another kind of cinema here in India that's being made, which essentially resists the Hindi films, which counters the Hindi film. So it takes a lot of time for them to understand it, and once they get to see the film, they respect the film. But then you cannot be telling to everybody that it's that. And Indian film, see, Oscars, what to say? There are only, as far as I know, there are only two very reputed awards, or for various reasons, given after the release of a film, which is like the Oscars and the Indian National Awards. Normally, film festivals are a platform to create a market for an alternate market for films which don't have business or which has less attraction for the existing market. So that's where film festivals come into play, and an award or recognition in that space will bring in some money back for the filmmaker to make his next film and not compromise on the kind of good films that he's making. But Oscars and national awards recognize a film after the release. So for us, a film winning an Oscar might or might not make a difference for that particular film. The filmmaker and the actors will benefit in the future with whatever understanding they have, and the kind of marketing it takes, and the kind of voting system they have. It is going to be really tricky for an Indian film to get into the top 5, and Lagan's entry into the top 5 looks like when we get to hear the story of how that happened, it's like, oh, okay, it just has happened, it's magical, somehow it happened. But it's really hard to cater to their sensibilities. Your sensibilities are different, their sensibilities are different, and their perception of, if you shape their perception of India, they wouldn't like it. See, they would have definitely accepted a lunchbox, but the committee here felt differently. So lunchbox would have been accepted by them. So that is the kind of India they like to see.
So overall, would you rate your experiences at the Oscars a pleasant one? Are you looking forward to going there again?
It's where Vada Chennai got a chance. That's not the kind of film that you should be expecting all of those things with. This is a proper mainstream film. Now it has become like, see, people like to categorize, tag, and say, okay, that's an easy way to memorize things. So okay, Vetri Maaran, okay, he does films, he will be only doing these kind of films. I never intended to do that kind of films. I only want to get back the money to my producer. That's my only reason. I always do films based on that. So this might have that what to say, the attention of the viewers might be, audiences might be that, but this is not that kind of film. It's a very ordinary film. It's a very simple film. It's primarily meant for the mainstream viewers.
All the best for that, and thanks for this very insightful talk. So I'll leave the floor open to questions, say a few questions for those who might have something to ask for Vetri Maaran.
ஹாய் சார், வணக்கம். விசாரணை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கட் ரிலீஸ் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லியிருந்தீங்க. ரிலீஸ் பண்ணுவீங்களா இல்லை ஆயிடுச்சா? எனக்கு தெரியலையா.
இல்லை இது பண்ணலை. அது இப்போ ஆக்சுவலாக விசாரணை வந்து நெட்ஃப்ளிக்ஸில் இருக்குது. ஸோ வேறு வெர்ஷன் ரிலீஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. அது வேணால் வந்து எங்கேயாவது ப்ரைவேட் ஷோ வேணால் போட்டு பார்த்துக்கலாம். நெட்ஃப்ளிக்ஸில் இருக்கிறது வந்து தியேட்ரிக்கல் வெர்ஷன். அது சவுண்ட் எல்லாம் வேறு மாதிரி ட்ரீட் பண்ணது தான். பட் வெனிஸ்க்கு போன வெர்ஷன் தான் வந்து இல்லை அங்கே.
தேங்க்யூ சார்.
Sir, like currently all so currently all like Tamil movies, they are trying to emulate Hollywood, but like, do you think they're losing their rootedness in this process?
Hollywood yaran try pannadilla. I don't think anybody wants to make films like Hollywood films, except for a few, like, you know, yesteryear bigs.
How important is rootedness?
So they're not trying to do that. We all have a unique voice, I think. Like, you know, a lot of people are there. Like, everybody have their own style. Like Mishkin, he has made his, like, you know, the Japanese theater performance into his own style. Ram has his own voice. Ranjit has his own voice. Everybody have their own voices. Like, you know, every youngster is trying to make things. See, when you're trying to make bigger films, like, they don't follow anything that Hollywood has. This is a very original, larger than life films. Not necessarily Hollywood films, like all the star films, like the Vijay films, the Ajit films. These are all originally larger than life films, not Hollywood larger than life films. So all of these things have roots in its own way. Except until you try to do a bilingual, trilingual, multilingual film, you will be rooted naturally.
Hi, this is Divya. I'm 25 years old. So என்னோட 2 years 1 year senior and 2 year 1 year junior மாதிரி நிறைய பேர் different parts of Tamil Nadu இருந்து கிளம்பி சென்னை வந்துட்டாங்க. And they've all been inspired by Vetri Maaran, Bala and directors of this sort, that Rosie lives எல்லாம் விட்டுட்டு ஒரு McKinsey consultant life விட்டுட்டு வந்து படம் எடுத்து இந்த ஷார்ட் ஃபிலிம்ஸ் எடுத்துன்னு சுத்திட்டு இருக்காங்க. So ரெண்டு questions இங்க. Why is success in cinema very difficult? I see them undergo a lot of hardships in terms of family and in terms of profession. Second question is, do you have a word of advice for such youngsters who have come to live their passion?
It's like you need to have a lot of perseverance, and you need to have focus. And why it's troublesome and complicated, you attach a word Rosie to that lifestyle. So then naturally this becomes hard. There's no stability. See, if and also it's very reflective of what you do. Films are, my mentor used to say, you are as good or as bad as your previous film. Nothing else matters. You might have a great script to do as your next film, and you would have done some 15 great films before your previous film, but you're only rated by the previous film. So this is a world where nothing is ensured, and I think that's the height of this profession. So you always need to be on your toes. You need to learn, and I feel that this is very exciting because every time you choose a script, you get to learn something new about life. Ipo or IT profession patti or padam edukrona, we get to understand the psyche, their lifestyle, their the way they perceive world, the way the world perceives them, all of that you get to know. It's like writing a, studying for a PhD or a thesis பண்ற மாதிரி தான். ஒரு lifestyle understand பண்ணிக்கிறோம். அதுல இருந்து whatever story might come, that's different. But the story might be good or bad. But what experiences you've taken out of that research, like, makes you a better person. Definitely a better person. So it's a good life to be in. There are two things. You need to really assess yourself. There needs to be self-assessment. You need to know what you are good at. That's very important. See, everybody can be in films, but what do you want to be in films, and where do you stand in your own expectations to make that happen? Those are the things that are very important. That self-assessment, you need to keep asking the same question, because all the yesterday bigs as directors are guys, except Balamandra sir, are guys who wanted to become actors. And all the actors are guys who wanted to become directors. So Bharat Raja wanted to become an actor, Kamal Hassan wanted to become a director. So this is what happens. They all decided to stay in films, but they realized what are their strong points, then their passion. So I think that self-assessment is very important.
Sir, good evening. என் பேர் கார்த்திக். நார்த் மெட்ராஸுங்கிற எடுத்துக்கும் போது அது த ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் இன் மூவிஸ் அது எப்படி இது வந்திருக்குங்கிற பார்க்கும்போது நார்த் மெட்ராஸ் ஆக்சுவலாக வந்து இஸ் நாட் ஜஸ்ட் அபவுட் தட் ஆஸ்பெக்ட். நார்த் மெட்ராஸ் இஸ் ஹோம் டு செவரல் மைக்ரண்ட் கம்யூனிட்டிஸ், லைக் குஜராத்தீஸாக இருக்கட்டும், மார்வாடிஸாக இருக்கட்டும், and say the Chettis. I mean, a lot of positive things that has been brought about in North Madras. அவங்களோட இது அவங்க the charities, the education institutions that they support, அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய இந்த பான விஷயங்கள். பட் ஒரு ஃபிலிம்ஸோட ஒரு ரெப்ரசன்டேஷன், ஃபிலிம்ஸ்ல வந்து ரெப்ரசன்டேஷன் பார்க்கும்போது I mean I think others know here. I mean the stereotyping வந்து happens in a very ஒரு இந்த way. இந்த ஒரு கம்யூனிட்டினா இந்த ஒரு இதுனா இப்படிதான் இவங்க அப்படிங்கிறது இஸ் a very இந்த so film is a mass a movement for, it's a mass media obviously. So அப்படி இருக்கும்போது positive aspects of one particular இது, see I'm not getting into whether this is right or wrong இதெல்லாம் இல்ல, but there is another side to it which doesn't get as portrayed as much as this side to it இல்லையா? So அதுக்கு your thoughts on that?
லேட்டாக வந்தீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So see, this is something that we always wanted to do, and we've been always wanting to do that. So, and there is also a lot of work that's happening, like in the Ennur Creek, a lot of people are fighting for it, and they're trying to make it better, make life better there. All of that is there. So all these representations would be like taking place. இப்போ அந்த டிஸ்கஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் வர ஆரம்பிச்சிருச்சு. இப்போ people from there are making films, so they would definitely voicing all of that. That would come. Whatever is there on the surface level that attracts to start with, but then gradually you just get into the grassroots details. That's it.
ஹலோ வணக்கம் சார். என்னுடைய யுகேந்திரன். நீங்கள் லாக்அப் படத்தோட நாவல் தான் நம்ம விசாரணையாக நீங்கள் பண்ணீங்க. ஸோ அதுமாரி வேறு என்ன நாவல் நீங்கள் படிச்சுட்டு இது படமாக பண்ணணும்னு நினச்சிட்டு மேபி இன்னும் இது ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி அமையலன்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க? ஏன்னா ஆல்ரெடி விவசாயம் ஒரு படம், மேபி மணிகண்டன் சார் ஒரு நாவல் வச்சு நீங்கள் பேசிகிட்டு இருந்தீங்க நடுவில் நினைக்கிறேன். விவசாயம் வச்சு ஒரு ஸ்கிரிப்ட் இதை பண்ணுறது ஒரு நாவல் பேஸ்டு. ஐ ஜஸ்ட் ரீட் ஆர்டிகல் இன்டு ஆக்சுவலி. ஸோ அந்தமாரி எந்த நாவல் நீங்கள் ஒரு விஷுவலாக மேபி இது மூவியாக பண்ண நல்லாயிருக்கும் நினைக்கிறீங்க, மேபி இன்னும் அது பண்ண முடியலன்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க? அந்த மாதிரி
அப்படி பண்ண முடியல அப்படின்னா ஒரு 2-3 புக்ஸ் இருக்குது. அதெல்லாம் தமிழ் புக்ஸ், அதெல்லாம் பண்ண முடியாது. தமிழில் ஒரு டோனி நாவல் அதெல்லாம் பண்ணவே முடியாது. பட் வேற சில நாவல்ஸ் எல்லாம் வாங்கியிருக்கோம், we are just trying to process it out. வாடிவாசல் ரைட்ஸ் வாங்கியிருக்கோம், we have acquired the rights. And then ஷூஸ் ஆஃப் த டெட் ஒரு நாவல், இங்கிலீஷ் நாவல், அது ரைட்ஸ் வாங்கியிருக்கோம். தென் we have Vekkaiyoda rights வாங்கியிருக்கோம். Got all these things. Thank you, sir.
I want to know how you work with your script. They famously say that Farhan has to have finished the script and gave it to the team to do Dil Chahta Hai. But you say you have been shooting this film for a long time. So it's finished that you are working on, or you are improvising as you work?
If this is going to go on record, then I'm not answering this question. If everybody is ready to turn off the mobiles recording, then I'll answer this question.
I'm switching off.
Yeah. See, I had written around 1,200 pages for Chennai. And 10 days into the shoot, I just tore away all the 1,200 pages and then started shooting. And I'm trying to figure out what the film is going to be now. So I keep changing whatever that I've written based on what's happening there. So if there's something that's new coming up on the location, then I immediately change the scene to fit that particular thing into it. If there is a lack of availability of something, then we change it accordingly. These are things that happen while you're working in an uncontrolled ambience. When you have everything under control, you can do it. And this is a film where you have at least 20 people to 40 people in every scene. It's a very, very, very crowded, noisy, chaotic film. So this you can never shoot as you had planned. It's a very, very tricky film to make in that sense. So writing and shooting what you've written is not a possibility at all.
Actually, you were on record there.
On my previous film, I didn't have a script. First half, I had a one-line order. Second half, I didn't know what I was doing. I only knew 4 lines of the second half of my previous film. So that's it.
Anybody else?
Vanakkam, sir. 3 questions. First thing is, how do you decide the first scene of your movie? That is something I want to know. And the second one is, if A center, B center, BC. And for me, firstly, I'm not Saival Sunday not Madras right from leave, but I'm able to connect emotionally throughout the film, right from the start to end. And there are 2 scenes in Polladavan and Adikalam. I felt so emotional, and I thought that's the best scene of the movie, personally. That is the scene, when Polladavan, Dhanush will yell at his father, and once someone hits his father, he will say that Adyar. And then the second movie, Adikalam, Dhanush comes to know that his Guru is the person who has done all that, and he will straight away and go and say that, sir, these things are so emotionally connected for anyone who are not part of the life, or connect and someone who sits in a theater and who is able to get engrossed into the movie, even though they really don't know what is happening. I mean, football, things were used to work out, whereas something like this is quite surprising. I mean, I'm very much moved when I see these movies, and emotionally if they connect out, how do you decide things? The first scene of the movie, what is it?
First scene for me, see, I am a very restless person as a person. If something cannot engage me for more than 10 minutes, then I will not be able to sit. Like watching my films in the edit, if it's not engaging, 3 minutes, that's it. I'll take my mobile phone. Then I know it's not working. So my first scene, I will want to take out the best or the most engaging and most intriguing moment and put it in the front. So I would like to do it that way. And this narrative where you go back and forth, I feel can hold interest for a mainstream viewer. That's one thing. And then when you say that you're able to connect to a lifestyle that you don't know, then I think you belong to that bracket of A, where you can lend yourself into understanding another person's world. But there are a lot of people who don't, who cannot understand someone else's life. So a film that speaks North Chennai Tamil will not go beyond the the film's possibility of going beyond Madurai is very less. So after my first film, I went to Nagarkovil. My first film Nagarkovil. And ஒருத்தர் என்கிட்ட கேட்டாரு தமிழ்ல எப்போ படம் எடுப்பேன்னு கேட்டாரு. So he didn't understand that film at all. So that's how it is.
Actually,
என்னோட பேர் செந்தமிழ்ச்சன். நான் திருவொற்றியூர் நார்த் மெட்ராஸ் ஒரு 15 years இருந்தேன். Actually, பொல்லாதவன் பார்த்துட்டு I felt like I relived my life there. And the credit totally goes to you, and you picked each and every aspects of it to the core how it has to be presented. But my question is on in the recent Kala music launch la Rajinikanth சொன்னாரு உங்க political story கேட்டு ரொம்ப impress ஆயிட்டாருன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. It was a great situation, but we all also wanted to know when that story will be taken, and we don't know whether it will be with Talaivar, but your thoughts on that.
This is on record, Vetri.
See, அது நார்த் மெட்ராஸ் மாதிரி அந்த படம் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா பிகாஸ் ஐ நோ த பிளேஸ் அண்ட் ஐ ஷாட் 90% ஆஃப் த ஃபில்ம் இன் வடபழனி அண்ட் சாலிகிராமமுடி. ஐ டென்ட் கோ டு நோ ஆக்சுவலி we only shot 4 days in North Madras for that film. So there's one unique quality to Chennai streets, Chennai native streets. எல்லா தெருவுலையும் வந்து எல்லா வீட்டு முன்னாடி ஒரு முருங்கை மரம் நம்ம பார்ப்போம். That you don't get to see anywhere else in the world. Like if I could say that, ஏன்னா we don't have a backyard. சென்னையோட கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் வந்து பேக்யார்டு இல்லாத ஒரு கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன். And you don't have much place in the front also. Murmura vandu it doesn't disturb the building. At the same time, you can make use of all whatever. It's a very nutritious tree, easy to grow. So idu vandu ella edathiliyume irukum, and adu we might not consciously notice, but we know that it is there. Ninga inga streets ku pogumbodhu pathina ella theruliyum irukum murunga maram. முருங்கமரம் இருக்கிற ஸ்ட்ரீட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்து நேட்டிவ் ஸ்ட்ரீட்ஸ், லைக் இந்த சென்ஸ் ஒரு 100 வருஷமா இருக்கிற தெருக்கள் எல்லாமே அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஸோ இதெல்லாம் we were able to create that. அந்த கதை வந்து ரஜினி சார் சொன்ன மாதிரி நல்லா இருக்குன்னு சொன்னாரு. ஸோ அவர் தான் சொல்லணும்.
அவரு வேற யார்கிட்ட பண்ற மாதிரி
இல்லை, இது இப்போ தேவையில்லை நினைக்கிறேன். அந்த கொஸ்டின்
Last question.
actually the reality zone full movies வர முடியாததுக்கான முக்கிய காரணம் என்ன? கோபிநாத் சொன்னாருன்னு சொன்னீங்க, வட சென்னை கூட அந்த ரியாலிட்டி ஜோனுக்குள்ள வராது. அதுக்கும் அந்த
யதார்த்தம்ன்றது நீங்க சொல்றது ரியாலிட்டின்றது வந்து அது எப்படி சொல்றது, இப்போ நாங்களும் வந்து நடக்கிற விஷயங்களை தான் எடுக்கிறோம். அது அவர் சொல்ல வந்தது வேற. அவர் என்ன சொன்னார்னா இட் இஸ் ஒன் சைடட். அங்கே இருக்கிற பொலிட்டிக்கல் சிச்சுவேஷன்ஸு அதெல்லாம் யாரும் சரியாக காட்ட மாட்டாங்கன்னு சொல்லியிருந்தார். அவர் அதை மீன் பண்ணியிருந்தாரு. அதுதான் நானும் சொன்னேன்.
அதுக்கு என்ன காரணமாக இருக்க முடியும்?
நிறைய காரணங்கள் இருக்குது. நம்ம பர்செப்ஷன் இருக்குது, நீங்கள் எதை சொல்லணும்னு இருக்குது, எதை சொல்ல முடியும்னு இருக்குது. இதெல்லாம் சேர்ந்தது தான்.
Thank you. With that, we'll wrap up the Q&A. But there's still just hang on for a while. We have a slightly interesting quiz. The good folks at Odyssey have promised some goodies for people who can answer these questions. These are very relatively easy questions. I'm sure all of you will know. But please don't scream out the answer. Raise your hands and Vetri sir will pick somebody from the lot to answer. The Tamil film Chennai 28 dealt with the subject of local cricket teams in the city. A lot of you would have, I'm sure, watched it. Which neighborhood in Chennai goes with the pin code Chennai 28? Pick somebody back there. Touch and black t-shirt.
Arepuram.
Yeah, that's right. The popular song Madras Nalla Madras is from a 1967 Tamil film featuring comedian Nagesh looking lost in the city. Name the movie, not Karthik. Anybody else? Okay, the lady here, yeah. This one, if somebody sings this, it will be great. We all remember the song in celebrating the city in May Madam. Fill in the blanks. Madras Sutti Parka Poren dash. Satyam, we all love Satyam Cinemas. A lot of Satyam Cinemas fans here, I'm sure. Why was it in the news recently? This gentleman here spoke about Rajinikanth, and I'm sure a lot of Kamal Hassan fans are also here. This is quite easy for those who travel by Alvapet, which is the hotel situated right next to the actor's house in Eldam's room. This is the last question. So all of you guys, please sponsor the mug. Sivakarthikeyan is a well-known star today. He had its roots in TV and all that, but he's a big star today. His first film is a popular hangout TV. Thank you for your enthusiastic participation. I'd like Ashwin from Odyssey to say a few words before we wrap up.
Good evening to all of you. At Odyssey, we do a lot of events to celebrate Chennai in the Madras week that is going on now. So this time I thought we'll do something about movies, and that's why I spoke to Srinivasa and said, can we do something? There's a lot of movies covering Madras in different ways. So that's how we came up with this program, and thanks so much, Srinivasa. Thanks to you, sir. It has been a wonderful evening. I was very worried. I was telling him, what kind of a person is he? Does he open up? Does he talk? Because some people just don't open their mouth. I mean, so I was kind of prepared for the worst, and you kind of... So thanks so much for a fantastic evening. I'm sure you enjoyed the evening also. Yeah, and a small moment of you.